Hello friends, my name is Aiman Reyaz. I'm an assistant professor of English at Jaipal College, Chapra, JP University. Today we'll discuss The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats. It is one of the finest poems of the 20th century and it somehow captures the whole essence of modernism and to some extent a degree of postmodernism also. So we'll discuss this poem in detail. I am beginning with this poem. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed in everywhere, the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction while the worst are full of passionate intensity. We notice that Yeats is somehow talking about the way in which society is changing, and according to his vision of life, every 2000 years society changes and a new event, something historical happens which changes the whole perspective of society. For example, in the earlier traditions we had the whole, you could say, the grand vision in the Greco-Roman Empire. Then after 2000 years, 2000 odd years, the Christendom or Christian Empire came into being. And now when he has written this poem, Yeats is somehow he is having this kind of premonition that a new, you could say, change in social fabric is about to come, in which the whole onset of life is going to change, as in after this 2000 years of life cycle, a new monstrous being is about to come and the whole societal structure is going to change. He says, turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Here Yeats symbolically is talking about that the society that now we are living, it is somehow disconnected. Our intellectuality is disconnected with our emotion, and this is what he refers to, the distinction between falcon and falconer, as in, I'm quoting, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the next line says, and the center cannot hold. Everywhere you find that an overarching set of themes is being lost, and this center that he is referring to refers to the logocentric approach, whereby a grand narrative or a meta-narrative somehow controls and dominates the whole societal structure. But this center is losing its hold. This is very important, because this is the whole essence of postmodernism, that there is no meta-narrative. Grand narratives are over, and this is what Yeats is talking about in this poem. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. In this particular age, we are finding his words so true and so apt that everywhere, even though the governmental and organizational pressures are there, the rules and regulations are there, yet anarchic situations and anarchic people, they do come into the forefront and they hamper and distort the social fabric. Then I'm moving on. The best lack all conviction while the worst are full of passionate intensity. The people who are so-called best, they are lacking in emotions. They have become speechless, and even if they are speaking, their voices are not being heard. On the other hand, while the worst are full of passionate intensity, but those who are against society, you could say, they have so much zeal and enthusiasm, and they are full of passionate intensity. This is what it's saying. And we move on to the next paragraph. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Then Yeats is reiterating the words, the second coming, twice, because he somehow believes that society is about to change, as I talked about in the beginning of my lecture, that society is going to change very soon, and that 2000-year cycle, which Yeats most definitely believes in, it is approaching its end, and a new social fabric is about to come into being. Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in sands of the desert a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow house while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again. Yeats is now visioning and he is seeing a monstrous figure and he is so terrified with it. But now I know that 20 centuries, here the words is that 20 centuries, 2000 year cycle of stony sleep, that's society, the new society which is about to come. It was sleeping then and now it is waking up. Were vexed no to nightmare by a rocking cradle, and what rough beast, it is a very important line. It's come round at last, the time is coming, the time is now vast, it is approaching quite near, it is very near, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. And Bethlehem, as we all know, is a place, was the place where Jesus Christ was born. And this beast, who has the head of a lion and the body of a man, that particular being is being born, this monstrous being is being born at Bethlehem. Thank you so much.